Good evening, DFS Jaggers. My name is Riku Mukherjee, and I'm doing a very special, emergency pod, I guess we could say, talking live golf tonight. So yesterday, DraftKings, surprisingly, dropped some live golf showdown contests on DraftKings, and for some reason they didn't do full tournament. Contest. They only did round one Showdown. So for people who aren't familiar with Showdown, that usually follow me and Tony every week when we do the PGA Tour show, we usually talk full tournament, all four rounds. Showdown is where you basically accumulate fantasy points just based on one round. And it looks like the contest that they're providing this week is just solely based on round one. I'm assuming that once round one is over, they'll drop some more contests for round two. But yeah, it looks like DraftKings is going to dip their toe into the live golf market a little bit here and offer some contests. They actually have some nice contests with some good prizes up top, 25K to first place and 10K to first place, and some of the other contests. But if you are new here, please like and subscribe. This is my first time doing any sort of podcast on the LIV Tour. For people that don't know what the LIV Tour is, it's a rival golf tour that's backed by Saudi Arabia that a lot of people from the PGA Tour have defected to, and they've basically created their own event schedule throughout the year. And this is their first event that they're going to have in the United States. It is going to take place in Portland, Oregon, at the golf course's name is Pumpkin Ridge Golf Course. And I'll basically just kind of really quickly I'll just talk here for a few minutes and about the course, and then we'll just talk about the DK salary breakdowns and stuff like that. And then we'll, just wrap it up real quick. For those people that aren't too familiar with Showdown Scoring, it is a little bit different than regular full tournament scoring. So the things that are really emphasized in Showdown Scoring, when it's just basically one round, is birdies. Birdies are worth 5.75 points on Showdown Scoring compared to their normal 3 points on full tournament scoring. So, and then bogeys are worth minus 1.8, double bogeys are minus 3.9, and then you get streak bonuses of 3 birdies in a row, which is normal compared to a full tournament event. And then you get plus 5 points for a bogey free round and plus 5 points for a hole in one. So when we are going to target players here for Showdown Scoring, we're going to look at guys who I think have a chance of making a lot of birdies. We don't really care too much about overall score or anything like that. We're just kind of looking for guys that make birdies, have rounds where they can hopefully put 3 birdies together in a row to get that streak bonus, and then maybe avoid some bogeys here, because bogey free round does give you an extra 5 points too. So before we talk about the salaries real quick, let me just talk about Pumpkin Ridge. This course has seen a few professional events throughout its time. Like I said, it's located in Portland, Oregon. There's 2 golf courses there. One golf course is called the Ghost Creek Golf Course, and one course is called the Witch Hollow Golf Course. And the biggest thing that we've seen here was in as far as professional, or not even professional, but the biggest thing we've actually seen here was in 1996 at the Witch Hollow Golf Course. Tiger Woods won his 3rd consecutive U.S. Amateur Championship on the Witch Hollow Golf Course. This course has also hosted the 2003 U.S. Women's Open at the Witch Hollow course. They've hosted some Corn Ferry events, and the Ghost Creek course has actually hosted the LPGA Safeway Classic from 2009 to 2011. So as far as this week's goes, it was a little difficult for me finding, what exactly which course they're playing. There wasn't much information online for me to do some research here. So from what I've gathered, it looks like similar to what the PGA Tour did at the Country Club at the U.S. Open a couple weeks ago. They're going to do a composite 18 holes between the 2 courses, the Witch Hollow course and the Ghost Creek course. It looks like they're going to use 6 holes from the Witch Hollow course and then 12 holes from the Ghost Creek course. Which 6 they're using from one course and which 12 they're using from the other course, I have no idea. Just kind of crapshoot. The only other information they gave us was between the 18 holes, it's going to compile about 7,600 yards. So a pretty long course. So obviously when we see 7,600 yards, we're going to think bombers and, guys that we are familiar with that are long off the tee and good off the tee. So that's one thing I'm definitely going to be focused on in addition to birdie makers. And then the only other information we got is the green types. It's West Coast course, so it's not surprising that it's 100% Poana greens, similar to what we see in California at like Torrey Pines and all the courses that we play in California, courses that I play here where I live in Southern California. Most courses on the West Coast are Poana greens. This course is nothing different, 100% Poana green. So I will even do a little research here on my own on guys that are, putt well when it comes to Poana greens. And that's really all the other information I got about the course. We have 48 players in the field. Mike, we can drop the salaries here for round one showdown. So, yep, here's the salary breakdown. And we can see the guys at the top, Dustin Johnson, $10,700, all the way down to Jediah Morgan at $6,000. And you're going to be building DraftKings lineups just like we do full tournament guys. And I'll kind of just go through every range and kind of just name the guys that I think are pretty decent plays here. And I don't know anything about ownership. I have no clue about ownership. I'm not going to talk about ownership. But if you want to just touch the topic of ownership, I'm going to guess that the guys that play on the PGA Tour, like Dustin Johnson and Taylor Gooch and Brooks Koepka, these are the names that people are going to be more likely to click than the European Tour players and the young guys and the Asian Tour players like Sam Horsfield or Bernd Wiesberger, or if we drop down a little bit lower to Justin Harding at 7,700. I feel like the guys that actually play on the PGA Tour are going to be a little bit more higher owned. So that's the only real thing I can say about ownership. So, and that's just a complete guess. I mean, obviously, it's just common sense here to think that if people are going to be playing DraftKings, the only names that are going to really, the novice players that are going to be playing or recognized are the big names that we know that play on the PGA Tour on a regular basis. So, I actually used my the thing that I always use with Fantasy National to look at some stats. And what I did was I looked at the 48 guys in the field, and out of the 48 guys, there was actually 21 guys in the entire field that I actually had recorded like PGA Tour rounds. So I was able to star those 21 guys, and just so I was able to basically see where they stack up against each other in the field, like how they've done on the PGA Tour over the course of the last 36 rounds or 50 rounds or however I wanted to do it. But I'll get into that in a minute. I'll just really quickly go through these ranges here and talk about the guys who I like, and then we'll talk about just some stat stuff at the end, and then we'll wrap it up. So kicking it off here at the $10,000 mark, we got DJ at 10.7, Taylor Gooch at 10.4, Louis at 10.3, and Brooks at 10,000 flat. I'm probably going to go to Taylor Gooch here as my favorite play. He is renowned to be a pretty good birdie maker. He's long off the tee. He's the only guy amongst these four that actually has been playing decent golf over the last year on the PGA Tour. Dustin's been awful. Louis has been awful. Brooks Koepka has been awful over the last year or so on the PGA Tour. So I'm not really sure how these guys are going to react to playing on a different tour. This is the second time DJ, Gooch, and Louis have teed it up on the LIV Tour, but this is the first time Brooks is teeing it up. So maybe he needs a little bit of a fresh start, and who knows what their motivation is. I'm not going to really talk about like the whole money aspect of it or anything like that, but these guys got big fat stacks of cash now from the Saudi backed tour here to join this tour, and I think it's good for them because they get their money, and I'm not really sure where their motivation factor lies right now, just because we don't really know. These tournaments are not going to be awarded world golf points, so this is not going to go towards anything towards like qualifying them for majors or anything like that. This is basically an exhibition event, and they're getting paid to show up and play golf. So who knows what their motivation factor is besides the first place money here. There's a $25 million prize pool here for the tournament. So first place is like 5 million. So who knows? Out of these four guys, I'm pretty sure Taylor Gooch got the lowest contract in joining LIV. So the other three guys probably got really big contracts to join LIV here. So I think the money factor might be a little bit enticing for Gooch, but just from an overall golf standpoint, I really like Gooch in this case. And at 10,400, I think most people are going to open this up and they're going to click on the names of DJ or Brooks here. And I think Taylor Gooch could be a good pivot off of those guys. The second guy I'm going to talk about here is DJ. I think DJ is a decent play here. 10,700 is a high price tag, but we know DJ is a bomber off the tee. He plays good on the West Coast at times. So he's not the worst play here as far as, somebody that you would be targeting in Showdown, but I have a feeling he is going to be a little popular. So for me, the top play here is going to be Gooch, and my second favorite play is going to be DJ. And I'm just going to cross off Louis and Brooks just because I don't really know where their games are at. They're both pretty awful at the moment, so I need to see a little bit from them before I ever click their names in DraftKings again. Dropping down to 9,000, we have Abraham Answer at 9,900, and then Bryson at 9,800, going all the way down to Sam Horsfield at 9,100. So amongst these guys, my favorite play is probably going to be Bryson, just because of how long he is off the tee. I feel like this bombers are going to be advantageous here because of how long the course is. Thick rough is usually a thing on the West Coast, so I'm pretty sure they're going to have the rough up a little bit. I've been watching Bryson's social media videos over the last couple weeks, and he looks pretty healthy now. He's been grinding it really hard in Dallas, where he lives, and it looks like his hand is fully healed at this point. We haven't seen him on the PGA Tour really over the course of the last few months, just because he's been coming off a wrist surgery and a hand injury. But he's been posting on his social media, and he looks pretty solid and pretty healthy now. So amongst these guys, I think he has the highest win equity. He's definitely going to want to show something, teeing it up for the first time on the LIV Tour. He wants to show that he still has it, he's still one of the best players in the world, because fully healthy Bryson is one of the best players in the world. And if he wasn't coming off this injury or whatever, he should be priced up there with above Taylor Gooch and maybe even above Dustin Johnson. So at 9,800, I think that's a pretty good price tag for Bryson at a long course. And I'm just going based off the fact that what I've seen on his social media, he looks like he's healthy and swinging the club hard, and he's ready to go bomb the shit out of the ball at this course and make some birdies. So he's one of the best birdie makers in the field, and he's also one of the best putters in the field. I will take him as my favorite play in the 9K range. My second favorite play in the 9K range is probably going to be Sam Horsfield. We haven't seen much of Sam Horsfield on the PGA Tour, but we have seen him a lot on the DP World Tour, where he is a phenom. He wins a lot. He makes a lot of birdies. Usually European Tour events are birdie fests when it comes down to it. I see a lot of like -17, -18 winning scores, -20 winning scores on the European Tour. And Sam Horsfield's name I see on the leaderboard, on the front page of the leaderboard, a lot, which means he makes a lot of birdies. He is one of the longer players on the European Tour. I'll dive into those stats in a few minutes, but just from the research that I've done, he's very long off the tee. So I think Bryson and Sam Horsfield are my favorite two plays up here. I don't mind Sergio just because he's one of the best players off the tee for the PGA Tour. He's not that long, but he doesn't miss fairways. He's really good off the tee, but he's a terrible putter. He's one of those guys that you're risking the great play off the tee with a lot of missed putts, and when you're trying to make birdies for Showdown scoring, I really don't like the guys that are terrible putters in this range. I don't really have a take on Answer or Reed. I haven't been Answer all year on DraftKings. I'll just continue to fade him. And Patrick Reed, I don't mind Patrick Reed on West Coast long courses, but Patrick Reed's more of the guy that likes to grind out pars. And he's a great putter. He's a great short game guy. But in showdown scoring, where you got to make birdies in bunches, I think I'd rather take the risk with Bryson and Horsfield over someone who's good at grinding out pars like Patrick Reed. So that's my take in the 9K range. We'll really quickly drop down here to the 8K range. We got everyone from Pat Perez at 8,900, Matthew Wolf at 8,800, all the way down to Henny Duplessis at 8,000. In this range, we have Charles Schwarzel, 8,700, who won the first LIV event. I will completely fade him. I don't think this course suits him very well at all. First LIV event was at a shorter course, which is much more up Charles Schwartzel's style. I don't mind Matthew Wolf here just because he showed me something last week at the Travelers. He played actually pretty well. So maybe a change of scenery for him, maybe a new tour for him is what he needs. And we know that for one round, when we're looking at showdown scoring, Matthew Wolf can tear it up for one round and make a lot of birdies. So I'm definitely going to play some Matthew Wolf here. The other name that I like here is going to be Henny Duplessis at 8,000 flat. He finished second place a few weeks ago at the inaugural event. He got a nice paycheck for that round. And for the people that don't know him, he's South African. He's a really good golfer. He's long off the tee, very good tee to green. He knows how to make birdies. So he's going to definitely be another guy that I'm going to target in this range. Laurie Cantor is one of the longest players in the field. So if we're going to target birdies, he's not that great approach and putting wise, but at 8,100, if we're just going to target a bomber that could possibly get hot with his putter, I don't mind Laurie Cantor at 8,100 either. All the other names in this range are just kind of names for me. I'm not going to play any Kevin Na, not going to play any Ian Poulter. Wiesberger's a little interesting, but very little of him. So if I was going to rank my plays here, I would probably say just purely based on the fact that he's a birdie maker and could get hot for one round in 18 holes only, Matthew Wolf is probably going to be my favorite play in this range. Second favorite play is going to be Henny, and third favorite play is going to be Laurie Cantor. Really quickly going down into the 7K range, a lot of these names are going to be unfamiliar for players out there. We have Adrian Tuggy, who's a staple on the European Tour, all the way down to Yuki Inamori at 7,000. I don't know many of the a few of the guys in this range either, but stick out to me in this range are going to be first one is going to be Martin Keimer at 7,200. We know Martin Keimer's game. He's very good tee to green. He's a great putter, long off the tee. He's been really good on the European Tour over the last couple of years, so I don't mind him at 7,200. Carlos Ortiz is a staple on the PGA Tour. He's been injured all year, so I'm a little scared to play him. I'd rather go down to Justin Harding at 7,700, who is another South African who plays on the European Tour, makes a lot of birdies, seeing his name on the leaderboard a lot. So I don't mind Harding at 7,700. I don't mind Keimer at 7,200. But I think my favorite play in this range is going to be Peter Uihlein at 7,100. He is a bomber off the tee. I think he finished third in the first LIV event a few weeks ago. So we know he's in decent form. I think he won a Corn Ferry event a couple months ago or something like that. So we know his form is good. He's been playing decent on the PGA Tour when he's been playing in events over the last year. And I like where his game's at. And at a course where that demands driving distance and birdies, I think he's going to definitely be my favorite play. So my favorite three plays here are going to be Peter Uihlein, Martin Keimer, and then Justin Harding at 7,700. Phil Mickelson at 7,500. He's just awful, man. I mean, I understand he's long off the tee. He's a pretty good putter, but he's just been so bad, and he hasn't played golf, and I just can't get to them at 7,500. I'd rather go back to Hudson Swafford, who I bet in the first event at 7,400. He's a PGA Tour player. He literally won on the PGA Tour in January in California, so we know he's good on the West Coast. So 7,400 Hudson Swafford. I don't mind sprinkling a little bit of him into your lineups as well. And then dropping down to 6,900 in the $6,000 range. I don't really know many of these guys, to be completely honest with you. 6,900 Scott Vincent, all the way down to James Piot at 6,000. This is just kind of a range where you just kind of, if you're going to even go down to this range, you just kind of want to close your eyes and click here. The only information I got for you guys out there is Eugenia Chikara at 6,900. He was the number 2 ranked amateur in the world behind Pearson Coody, who just won on the Corn Ferry Tour last week. Pearson Coody's got offered a LIV contract. He said no. Eugenia Chikara, the number 2 amateur out of Oklahoma State, got offered a LIV contract. He said yes. He is Spanish. I think he is good friends with Sergio Garcia, which is why he decided to join the LIV Tour here. He's a phenom, man. Played for Oklahoma State. Absolute phenomenal golfer. So if you're going to bank on some upside here in his one of his first professional events, I don't mind going to some Eugenia Chikara at 6,900. No one is going to play him. No one knows who he is. And these guys that are coming out of college right off the bat, these guys know how to win. They're bred and buttered to make birdies in college, because that's all you got to do in college is to make birdies. We saw Pearson Coody literally win a Corn Ferry event last week, who's the number 1 amateur in the world, was the number 1 amateur in the world before he turned professional. So we know if the number 2 guy behind him is going to be pretty good too. So I don't mind him at 6,900. The only other names in this range that stick out to me are Wayne Ormsby at 6,700, just because I've seen his name on leaderboards in the European Tour, and Sean Norris at 6,600, just because he's been a good European Tour player as well. All the others named in this range, I have no clue who they are, to be completely honest with you guys. I just don't know who they are. I don't really have any takes. So the only 3 names I would click down here would be Chikara, Wade Ormsby, and Sean Norris. James Piot at 6,000 flat. He's also was a rising amateur before he turned professional, but he's just not that good. He really sucked it up in the first LIV event, so I can't click on him at 6,000. So I'll click on those 3 names that I talked about earlier. So that's basically my breakdown for the salaries here. Let me just quickly run through some stats, and then we'll wrap it up. Just really quickly, from a strokes for the 21 guys that I talked about earlier that actually have strokes gain data on, that have been on the PGA Tour. If we're going to target guys that are off the tee, the best players off the tee in this field over the last 36 rounds on the PGA Tour are going to be Bryson, Sergio, Answer, and Louis. Those are the guys that are the 4 best players off the tee. The best approach players in this contest are going to be Kevin Na, Hudson Swafford, Taylor Gooch, and DJ. And then so I like the fact that Bryson's coming in off the tee. Really, he's the best player off the tee in this range. He's the best player when it comes to driving distance also. When I look at driving distance and I arrange the players in order here. Just give me 1 second. It's loading. So driving distance with these guys, the top 2 guys, the top 4 guys for driving distance are Bryson at 1, Matthew Wolff at 2, Peter Uihlein at 3, and DJ at 4. So I definitely like those top 3 players there, Bryson, Wolff, and Uihlein. And then if we switch over to birdies, guys who are looking for birdie makers. So I'm going to click arrange these guys in birdies gained. From these guys, and the best guy in the field is Bryson again. So Bryson, DJ, Louis, Kevin Na, Hudson Swafford, these are the best birdie makers in this field that I have recorded stats for. Real quick, when it comes to the best putters in this contest, when it comes to putters on Poana greens only over the last 36 rounds, I got, let's see here, Louis is the best putter, Kevin Na, Bryson again, Abraham Answer. So I think I'm really talking myself into Bryson. I think he has the upside to win this event. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the world. So I think I'm going to be very heavily on Bryson, and then Matthew Wolff lower down. And then at the top, I like Taylor Gooch. And then before I wrap it up, just really quickly, European Tour stats. The only 2 guys I see in the top 20 on the European Tour for driving distance are Laurie Cantor and Henny Duplessis. So those are the bombers that we have in the field. The best approach players on the European Tour are going to be Sam Horsfield, Bernd Wiesberger, and I don't really have anyone else in the top 20. Richard Bland at 14. He's not bad. Sean Norris at 16. So those are your best approach players. And the best putters on the European Tour are Sean Norris, who's at 6,700, and that's all I see in the top 20. Sam Horsfield, a good putter also. So I'm going to be playing some Sam Horsfield for sure. He's the best approach player. He's long off the tee, and he's a good putter too. So Sam Horsfield's a name I'm definitely going to go to here. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that was a little bit of information for you guys. I know not many people are out there doing podcasts for the LIV Tour, but I just I play DraftKings every week. I'm definitely going to play some DraftKings this week. So for the live event. So good luck making some lineups out there. If you have any questions for me, feel free to tweet at me. My DMs are always open. You can message me. I will answer any question you have about any of the players in the field to the best of my ability. Hopefully one of us can take down these DraftKings events. It looks like they're not going to fill by Thursday. Looks like there's going to be a lot of overlay. So good chance for you to get in and try to make some money on an event where you might have a little bit of an edge if you just have a little bit of information. So good luck out there. Please subscribe to the Nickel City Mafia YouTube channel. I will be back next week with Tony to break down the Scottish Open, which is a PGA Tour sanctioned event next week. And good luck this week on the round one showdown scoring on DraftKings. First live event. Let's get a winner. All right. Thank you.